And while we're waiting here, just to give you all some more information, if you have any questions about imaging office systems or the solutions that we can give to you, our website is imagingoffice.com. And you can go there. We have numerous blogs, numerous videos, numerous case studies on this actual subject. And you can learn a lot more about the ScanPro and how we can help you from our website at imagingoffice.com.
Hey, everybody.
Bill, I've
can you hear me?
You, and you can take the floor, sir.
All right. Good morning. Can you hear me now, Ben? I'm here and ready to go. So not sure why we can't get through to you. So what are we going to do? So can everybody hear me? Can I get a sign? Can you hear me, Tim?
I can
No,
hear
I
you.
don't hear you.
You guys can hear me?
Yes, now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, listen, thanks for being patient and welcome. And we are adhering to Governor Pritzker's stay-at-home order, and I'm going to demonstrate the ScanPro virtually to you today. So just a quick background. iOS Imaging Offices is the distributor for the ScanPro in Illinois and 3 other Midwest states. Okay, so and you may have seen me and Tim at the IACC conferences. We've been doing those since 2014, and quite often we'll bring the ScanPro with us. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a demonstration for you, which is specifically for court clerks. Okay, the ScanPro is used for clerk recorders. It's used for building and zoning departments. It's used in libraries a lot, even in higher ed. So it gets used in a lot of places, but the requirements are a little bit different. So I'll review, I think, the features that are most important to you and demonstrate how to capture case files. What I'm using in our office today in Schaumburg is a ScanPro 3000, and this is an all-in-one. So this one includes the auto carrier, okay, and there are 3 models. There's a 2200, a 3000, and an i9300. Okay, they basically all look the same, and they can all be made an all-in-one. So, and right now we have 9 court clerks in Illinois using the ScanPros, and all 3 models are used by the different clerks. So let's get started. So I'm not going to show you loading up the film at this point. I've already got it loaded up. But when you boot up the ScanPro, the first thing you see is this startup wizard. So you can see on my screen, I've got 16mm, 35mm 3M cartridge app. So what we typically do is customize this for you. So, and quite often court clerks have 16mm film, but some may have even 3M cartridge. So I'm going to be using the 16mm. So what this does basically sets up the scanner to look for 16mm film, and the camera is set up for that size of film. So to get started, I'm just going to click on that 16mm roll film icon, and the carrier is going to move out for me. Otherwise, if I'm manually doing this, I just pull it a little bit. So then you're going to see an icon come up with a little video on it, okay? And the video shows us how to line the film. And if you watch it, it always goes clockwise. So it's pretty simple to do. So if you can get that done, the rest of this is easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, because I've got the auto carrier, I'm going to click on the fast forward buttons here so I can see when my images appear, and then I'm going to load it up. Okay, so I can physically see microfilm images. Now I'm going to load it. It's going to load up. And here you can start to see the first images appearing, okay? So let's go through what we're looking at the screen right now. So we've got a toolbar up top here, and it has different buttons which give you different features to do. And we also have tabs here. We've got a home tab, we've got adjust tab, we've got output and setup. So those tabs, we can put different buttons on them, and we can reorder them any way you want. Okay? So in the middle here, you can see here's one of my images that I've got, and there's this green crop box around it. So everything that's in the green crop box is either saved or we can print it, and we can view it that way as well. These other images we aren't doing anything with right now. And if I move down a little bit, I've got a slide bar here, which allows me to move forward slowly, or I can pick up the pace by moving it forward. And as soon as I let go, so I'm just using a right mouse click, left mouse click and holding it, and then it stops. We can go backwards as well if we want to do it that way. Okay? And when I loaded up the film, I use these double arrows to go fast forward. So if I'm looking for a case, I'm at the beginning of the roll, I can do this kind of thing, and then it's going to stop and I can see where I'm at. All right? Now, the third way I can move the film forward or back is this previous and next button right up here, which is pretty unique, the ScanPro. So if I click it once, it automatically moves to the next image. I can click it again and keep going that way. I can even click it twice, and it'll move 2 images. All right? So that's basically what we're looking at, just to move it around on the screen. So let's go to a few other things. So starting over left here, there's a fit to width button. And when I click on the fit to width button, it brings up everything and uses the full screen. And if I want to see exactly what I'm looking at, I'm going to zoom down. Notice the image stays in focus when we're zooming. And here's basically 3 images that we're looking at. Okay? So that's how we can, and we can move forward and back just like we would normally do it with all the other tools this way. So, and I'm using a flat screen monitor, and it's in the landscape mode versus the portrait mode. And the ScanPros, one thing that's a little bit different from those versus the old readers is that this is run off of a PC, a Windows PC. So we don't have an integrated monitor. We don't have a special printer for this. It will use basically any Windows PC with a good monitor, and the printing can be attached to any network printer. So we can attach this. It doesn't have to be dedicated. It can be attached to anything you have on your network. Okay? So let me go back and remove the fit to width. We'll go back here, and then we'll zoom up a little bit more so that you can see this better. Again, I'm just left clicking and holding. And I'm going to get right to here and zoom down just a little bit more. Okay, so if I did even want to zoom in and use the magnifier here, I click on the magnifier button. You can see it's got a 2x on it. And this is the blue box that appears for it. And everything in that blue box I can see in the magnifier. So you can see that if we don't want to zoom in and bring the whole image up, we can scan around using the magnifier and look at it this way. Okay? So now moving on, we've got an auto adjust button, and this automatically adjusts the brightness, the contrast, deskews it, and crops the image. And it uses the brightness button here. It uses the contrast button over here. It uses the auto crop button and the auto straight button. So rather than doing all these individually, I can use this one button to do that. So let's mess around with the image a little bit, and I'll show you how it works. So I'm going to crop this using the crop button like that. And then I'm going to bring down and darken the image like this. So I was at a 64. Now I'm at a 52. All right, and the contrast, basically what it does is it drops out the background of the image. So when it goes up in 5s. So when right now I'm at a 10, you can see this. If I bring it up higher, you'll see that the background gets washed out, and then the images, the actual printing starts to go away and is not as clear. So let's say I really messed this thing up, or maybe the film is just bad to begin with, and you want to adjust it. So I can come back in here, and I'll move out the crop box over here, and put it up this way as well. So let's click the auto adjust button, and you can see what the 4 functions it does all at once. So here we are right here again. And if I want to do some fine tuning a little bit, I can do this. I can drop it down. I can move this up again and make it clear and to what I think is the perfect image. So it is sort of a subjective thing to a certain point. So, but now I think I'm where I want to be, and now I'm ready to go, and I want to save this image. So I'm going to basically move this down here a little bit. But if I want to save this particular case, okay, and I'll just show you how quickly you can do it for one image, and then I'll show you how you can do it multi-images. So all I do, so remember, everything in this green crop box is what will be saved or what will be printed. I'll go to my scan drive 1, and I'll click on it once, and it'll say, okay, where do you want to put it? And I'm going to put it to my scans up here. It's a folder that I have on the desktop, and I'm going to call it, give it a name, and I'm going to call it case number 1, and I'm going to save it just as a PDF. Now, I could save it as a JPEG, a PNG, multi-page PDF with OCR, a single-page PDF, and I could even save it with TIFF images. So you have your choice to save it in a lot of different file formats that you prefer. And some of you may want to save this into a case file system, case management system, and you might want to use TIFF images. So we can do that, and we can accommodate it. So let's just, for this one, we'll just save it this way. We'll just click Save, and now we're done. So let's just take a look. So I saved that as a PDF. Here's my case number 1. So that's what it looks like in Adobe Acrobat Reader, which is the free reader. So pretty good quality, simple, only took a few seconds to do that. Let's move this back down out of the way. So, so let's say we've done that, okay, and now let's say we would want to save more than one image. So quite often your case files are a number of images. So let's say I want to save this one and the next 5 in my case file. So I'm going to come back up here again, and I'm going to say, let's save this one. Okay, and it's going to be case number 2, and I'm going to save it as a multi-page PDF. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to say Save. Now, so when I do that, this little window pops up, and it says, already I've saved one, and now I want to do the next one. So I'm going to click on the previous next button, and there's the next image. I want to add that. My scan count is now 2, and I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to add this one, save it again, keep going forward. I'm at 3. Let's put another one in there. Now I'm at 4, and now we'll do one more. I'm going to add that one, and then now we're at the 5 that we wanted. So I'm going to basically say I'm done. Let's finish this and open it and take a look at it. So again, I pop up in Reader. You'll notice I've got 5 images up here. Here are the 5 images that you're looking at. So pretty simple, easy peasy, right? All right, so let's say I've got, for argument's sake now, 10 pages that I want to use. So I can do that with a little different way. So with this auto carrier on the ScanPro, I would go to the auto ScanPro setting right here. And let's close out this for now. And then we will say, okay, where's it going to go to? Here's my path. I'm going to call it case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put in 10 of these images. We're going to make it a multi-page PDF as well. Okay, we're going to straighten and crop it. We could even do the auto brightness on it, but I'm pretty sure that this is going to be fine. And I'm going to basically say go. So let's scan this now. And you can see in my little window, you can see the images popping up. So remember, using the auto carrier, you can scan up to 100 pages in a minute. So that's on a roll of film, and you can even do this with fiche as well. So let's take a look and see where that one went. And here's our case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see that we have 10 images. And this is what they look like. 9, and there's 10. So very simple, very fast to use it this way. Let's minimize this and get rid of it. So I could even do it this way. So I'm looking for the case. So let's say I'm starting right here on this particular case. And this number here, I'll just use the magnifier so you can see it. So we're at 48 right now. Let's say I want to go to the next 15 images. So I'm going to slide forward like this, and I look. And then I'm going to stop, and I'm going to say, okay, this looks like it's my 15th image. So now I want to go back 15 images to the beginning of the case. So we can do that as well. So I can come up here and I can say, give me 15. I want to do the next 15 images. But this time I want to do the reverse versus the forward and do it that way. So we're going to scan those ones in, and we're going to do it in reverse order. You can see it's going backwards when it started off with, and we're going to go back to the beginning. Okay, we're done. Let's pull it up, take a look at it over here. And this is the one that we just did right here. So there's our 15 images. So this is a lot simpler than doing it with your traditional analog reader printers, where you would have to basically identify them, print them out, scan them, and then create the PDF for them and everything else. So it just makes your job easier, and you can get it done quicker. So let me show you another way to do this. So maybe somebody has requested this and you want to email it to them. Okay, so let's say it's this particular image right here. So I'm going to crop it up just like that. And you'll notice I have a scan to email button here. So when I click on the scan to email button, it says, okay, what do you want to call this? And I'm going to say it's an email, and I'm going to save it. Okay, so what this will do, it will launch Office 365 and Outlook, and it'll put the image right there. And now I can send this off to whoever it's going to be and send it to Tim, and away we go, and you're done. Pretty simple. All right. So one thing that we also found with court clerks was quite often you may need to redact some information. Okay, maybe that's a social security number, maybe it's a date of birth on the case information, or something like that. So we have this other button here called the Spot Edit. Okay, so the Spot Edit, it's got 4 little icons. It's got a pencil, a white line, a black line, and an X. So if I would like to, say, redact out this information here, let's say we'll pretend that this is a social security number. What I do is I can pick the black or the white, and then I can come in here and I can draw a box around it like that, and then I can put a black mark on it. So this basically, if we sent this off right now, that's the way it would look. But let's say sometimes you've also got a stamp on the bottom of this case, and maybe the stamp isn't very bright. So the other thing that we can do is I can continue with my pencil, and let's say our stamp is down on the bottom right over here. Okay, I can click on that, and now you'll notice that my brightness and my contrast buttons are also highlighted. Okay, and I'm just going to move my magnifier down here. So what I can do now is I can go in here and I can adjust the brightness and the contrast of this. So let's say we want to make it a little bit darker. I can do that, and I can make it darker. So you can see how this has gone dark, and then maybe I want to bounce up the contrast and clean it up and make it look better that way. So now I fixed up my stamp. I'm ready to go, and I could save it the way it is. So I'm going to save this like this. It's going to be, and I'll just call it like a redaction. Redaction image with a C in it. And let's save it. And we're done with this, so we're finished. And let's pull it up over here. And here's my redaction image. So this is the way it's going to look right here. So that's how we can do this. You can save it, Now, these images here, you'll notice the box is still bold. So if I want to get rid of this, I haven't changed the image at all, but I can get rid of it just by going and clicking on the X, coming up here, clicking on the X again, and we're back to normal. Whoop. There. So it's gone basically, and we're out of it. And nothing is, the original image has not been changed at all. So that's basically how we can do a lot of upfront, easy scanning, easy capture information. Some of these other tabs have different buttons on them. I can even put the same ones on. We can rotate images left and right. We can do that. We can even change the mirror on it as well. So it just flips it around. Typically, you don't see this on a roll of film unless the roll of film has been wound up the wrong way. But if you had some fiche, you can easily flip it without doing it that way. The scan mode gives you three options: enhanced grayscale, grayscale, and black and white. So we're kind of zoomed in here so you can see a difference on what this is going to look like. If I switch these over, the grayscale will give you a very good image. But sometimes if you've got just a business document and you want to keep it in a small file size, the best way to do this is to save it as a black and white or bitonal image. So you can see here's what it would look like just in bitonal, and it's pretty darn good as well. So that may be the way you want to save these, or you want to email them to somebody. So it depends on the quality of the image and how good it is to begin with, and if you can do that or not. So if I want to switch back to the regular just grayscale, I just toggle it again, and done, and that's where we're at. Now, you'll notice there's a focus button here as well. So generally I'm in focus, but if I'm out a little focus, I can hold it and click on it, and you'll see it'll go out of focus. I can come back again, bring it back into focus. So the film type is for positive, negatives, and micro opaques. So we can flip through these in the event that generally maybe you've got some film, you've got some positive, and you've got some negative film. So give it a second and it'll flip back over. So that's what your positive would look like. Go back in here and bring us back to the negative. And we can even do some manual straightening and correction that way. Again, a left click, hold it, switch it that way, come back, go the other way. Okay, and over here is also a help button. So if I can't remember what the exact function of the button is, and this doesn't give me enough to see if I run my cursor over it, I get a little context sensitive help. But if I want more information, all I do is click on that. Then I click on the button, and it gives me the full explanation of what this particular button will do. And then we can even go around in here. We can click on a focus button as well. So it's got this onboard help system, so you don't need to have paper kicking around or anything like that with the manual. You can easily jump on it, and away you go. Okay. So the last couple of things I'll just show you is the ScanPro has the capability, okay, to scan to 3 different drives and scan to 3 different printers. So I've seen it happen where more in a recorder's office where maybe you want to print out a wide format drawing and you want to use a 36 by 48 sheet of paper, or even for you guys, you could use legal paper versus the standard 8.5 by 11 paper. So you could select a printer, and that particular printer will only print out that size of paper. So that could be helpful if you want to get it done that way. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up basically saying that as far as the ScanPro goes, one of the things, the reason that people buy it are, first of all, it's the size. It's very compact. It fits almost anywhere. It's the size of a laptop, so it is pretty small. As you can see, it's very intuitive and easy to use. We sell a ton of these to public libraries. And with the public libraries, you get genealogists that walk in that have not used it before, that are not really computer literate, and they find it simple to use. So, and you can see with like one or two keystrokes, a couple of keystrokes, I can save something, I can print it, I can adjust the contrast, I can crop it, I can adjust the brightness on it, and you're good to go. So for court clerks and even police departments that have cases, we can use that spot edit key up here to redact out information and clean it up as well. This ScanPros come with a 6 megapixel or 26 megapixel camera. So depending upon the quality of your film, if it's not very good, if it varies a lot, the 26 megapixel camera, which comes standard on the 3000 or the i9300, will give you the best quality image, better than any other product in the marketplace. And just to wrap up too, you can save the images either to a Windows file directory, or you could save it to your case management system. This could be single page, multi-page, PDFs, or TIFFs. So, and again, imaging office systems, we do the installation, we do the training, and we do the support for you. So, and typically when we do the installation, we'll do the training with that, and then we'll come back in 2 weeks and we'll do another session of training. So by then, you're going to be in good shape. So that kind of wraps up what I wanted to say today. So if there's any other questions, we can answer those right now, and then we can go from there.
Okay, Bill, I see one question there.
Okay, and what is the question?
What if we need this system now? How can you set up and train? Question mark.
So for the most part, we can do this remotely. It can be a little bit tricky when you have the auto carrier on it, but we are starting to do that right now. So it gets shipped directly to your office. We can walk you through unpacking it, but that's pretty easy. But basically, the carrier is basically slides on top. It'll be in 2 pieces. It locks in, you plug it in, and then remotely, we can have one of our guys remote into your office, into that particular workstation. They will load up the software, okay? We can customize the toolbar for you up here, and we can do some training like that right on the spot. Like I said, it's pretty simple to do that. So when we do these on site, it generally, for a basic one, it's going to take around an hour to do the installation and to do the training. And the training can last longer if you like. If you've got more people that you want to train, we can spend an hour, 2 hours just doing training like that. If you've got a lot, we could even do a train the trainer. So we can do it a number of different ways.
Okay, thank you, Bill. There's another question. Are the pages backwards when you do the reverse multi-page scan? How does that work?
Let me see. Let me pull it up. Nobody's ever asked me that one. Let's see. So this is page 1. And remember, we did the 15 up here. I believe these, I'm thinking they're going backwards. So I would have to double check on the image of that to see the way that they look. So if that's the case, then you'd go back to the original one. If you want them in order properly, then we would just scan it going forward.
Okay, no, that's good information to know. Another question, can the ScanPro, I mean, you talked about it connecting to anything, but I mean, any PC, can it connect to Apple Macs or just PCs?
It will connect to, it typically works with a PC. Okay, that's what we find in most clerks' offices. I mean, there is a way that you can do it with an Apple as well. But yeah, I'd say, boy, I don't know, we've probably done 400 installations. I don't know, maybe we've done maybe 1 or 2 Apples. Yeah.
Okay. How portable is the machine?
I would say, you can move it around, but it's not something that you want to pick up and move day to day. So it weighs about 30 pounds. So, but when I do a demonstration, I have it in a case, and it takes me about 10 minutes to set it up. So I got to connect the ScanPro to the monitor and connect it to the power and connect it to the PC. So it takes a little bit of time to do that. But it wouldn't be something that you typically want to move around on a regular basis. That helps?
Yes, sir. And I think that is our last question that we have. So thank you, Bill, for all of your information and input. You definitely are an expert in this, and you've given us some great information to think about. And again, for ladies and gentlemen, you can go to imagingoffice.com for more information. We have blogs, case studies, all on this topic. And we will follow up and be sending you an information packet for those of you that have attended. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and Godspeed, everybody.